This was in the 80s, by the way. This was at a time when crime was sky high. I mean, you have no idea how different the city was at that time, how rampant crime was. And there was a real need for, for law enforcement. We were assigned a parks department van, and we drove around, and everybody thought we were Parks Department employees. In fact, our cover was so good that Parks Department supervisors would pull up to us and yell at us to get back to work. They would tell we were loafing. In reality, of course, we weren't, so we would just drive off and go back to what we were doing. April 19th, I was working, Bobby and I were working 4 to 12. We were working from 4 p.m. until 12 midnight. At 8 o'clock, we were given a meal, which means that's your time to have lunch, dinner, depending on whatever tour it was. You come into the station house and you get something to eat. I used to run the reservoir during my meal. I would run the reservoir, get a shower. By the time I was finished, it was time to go back out on patrol. Bobby and I got back in our van, and we started driving around. And immediately, we started getting numerous 911 calls of a large group of Black and Hispanic youths assaulting and harassing people in the park. We were getting calls from 911, people were calling 911, and people were coming into the station house. And we had quite a number of complaints. So a lot of us people, the entire precinct, we were looking for this group. And it got to the point where the precincts that had joined us, because on one side of the park is 5th Avenue, that's the 23rd precinct, and on the left side, or the west side of the park, is the 20th and the 24th precinct. And they responded also to give us a hand in helping to find this group. By that point, they had knocked one man unconscious and dragged him into bushes and left him there. Another couple were riding a tandem bicycle, and what they did was, it was a man and a woman, what they did was they stood in the roadway and they held their arms out, trying to stop them and knock them off their bike. According to the woman, she said she was scared out of her mind. She was praying that they didn't get knocked over because she didn't know what was going to happen to them once this group had stopped them. Her boyfriend told her, listen, put your head down, pedal as hard as you can, and we're just going to go right through them. Which luckily they did, and they got away. They came to the precinct and reported it. There was a taxi driver, there was actually several taxis where they were throwing rocks at them. One taxi driver stopped. He got out to confront them, and when he realized how large the crowd was, jumped back in his car and drove away because he saw he had no chance against them. We drove around for a while, and they took us a while. We didn't see the group. We were looking, didn't see them. At one point, from our vantage point, we could see the entire northern end of the park. And because it was nighttime, we could see the headlights of all the cars going in and out of the paths, looking for these kids. But the way the park is situated, if you've ever been there, has anybody ever been to Central Park, by the way? Okay. Have you ever been there at night? Have you ever been to the north end? Okay, so we got one person. My time in Central Park, it took me exactly a month. It took me a month before I could figure out where the hell I was. Those of you that have gone to Central Park, I'm sure when you got there, you probably didn't know where you were at certain points. And the park is designed that way. It's made to be lush and rolling, and it's made so that when you're in it, you cannot tell that you're in a sprawling urban area. You can't tell that you're in a metropolis. As far as you can see, you're in the woods. If I blindfolded you and took you to Central Park, didn't tell you where we were going, you wouldn't know where you were. You would think you were possibly upstate. Because that's how heavily wooded some parts of it are. So the point in saying that is, as the radio cars were looking for them, and we could see their headlights, it was very easy for the group to split up and to hide. And they hid in bushes, they hid behind trees, and it was just about almost impossible to find them. The headlights of the car you could see several feet prior to the car getting to where you're standing, and it gave you ample opportunity to hide before those cops were able to see you. So it took us a while, to look for them. Finally, at one point, one of the officers, Officer Mark Carlson, found a man on the west side of the reservoir who had been beaten severely. Both of his eyes were shut, were swollen shut. I think both of his eye sockets were broken. He was pretty much a bloody mess. Officer Carlson described him as looking like his head got dunked in a bucket of blood. And because it happened on the west side, and because there were so many cars looking for these guys, my assumption was that they had left the park, and because the last assault happened on the west side, they probably left the park at the west side and were probably in in the 2-0 or the 2-4, which is, Broadway, Amsterdam Avenue, Central Park West, those streets. We drove out of the park, and we went across the 102nd Street cross drive. And I'll get back to that later. We drive over to the west side because we're going to go now search through, go on the streets of the other precincts and see if we see them. When we came out at 100th Street in Central Park West, there was the group right there, or at least part of the group. There's about 20 or 30 guys walking on the other side of the street, headed uptown. They were all together. It was a cohesive group. You could tell that they were, it wasn't random people walking at the same time. They were all together. Now, my partner and I, we looked at each other, and I told him, I said, there is no way we're going to catch all these guys. We'll be lucky to get one or two. We're going to figure a different way to do this, to get them, or at least to get as many as we can. So what we were going to do was we were going to call over the radio and ask for assistance, have other radio cars come, no lights, no sirens, as to not scare them off, and come down the side streets so that we could box them in and get as many as possible. But before we could do that, the group from across the street started pointing at our van. And as soon as that happened, Bobby and myself, we looked at each other, completely puzzled, because, like I told you before, no one ever makes us as cops. Everybody thought we worked for the Parks Department. So we were completely baffled as to what the hell was going on, until at that moment I heard a knock on my window. Right? I heard a knock. I looked over, and it's a female cop in a scooter in uniform. And I rolled down my window to say to her, and excuse my language, but what the fuck are you doing here? And she said, well, I I think that's them across the street. And I looked at her and I said, you know, no shit, Sherlock, why do you think we're sitting here? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't say this because she's a female, because there are a lot of women cops I would work with over a male cops. Okay, but she was one of those people that was kind of ditzy and prided herself on being ditzy, and we just tried to stay away from her because whatever she got involved with was a mess. So anyway, as a result of that, as a result of her coming and scaring them off, the group started to walk in the opposite direction. Now they're trying to get away. So we took the van, we pulled up ahead of them, and cut off the group. Everybody started running with the exception of Raymond Santana and Stephen Lopez. The two of them stood there. My partner and the officer in the scooter chased the rest of the group. I walked up to Santana and Lopez, and they immediately told me that the group was trying to rob them. Now, we have been sitting there watching them, and it was very clear that they were part of the group, and that nobody was trying to rob them. So, because it was just me and them, I pretended to believe what they had to say, because otherwise, if I challenged them, if I told them I know that they're lying, they're going to start running. If they start running, I'm only going to catch one of them. So the idea is to get them both. I told them, okay, well, if we do get anyone, we'll bring them back, and if you can identify any of the people that were trying to rob you, you know, we'll arrest them, and we'll go from there. Anyway, long story short, a lot of radio cars come, and out of the group, we catch, and this was a group of 20 to 30 people, we catch another 3. So now we're left with a total of 5 people. I have Santana and Lopez. The other cops have Clarence Thomas, Lamont McCall, and Kevin Richardson. We took all of them over to 102nd Street and Central Park West, where our supervisor was, to sort out exactly what was going on. During that time, when I pulled up, 2 of the kids were crying and saying, I didn't do the murder, but I know who it was. It was Antron McCrae, and I'll tell you where he lives. Now, when they said they didn't do the murder, my assumption, we all assumed, that they were talking about the gentleman, and this guy was a teacher, his name was John Laughlin. We thought they were talking about him because he was beaten so badly, we assumed that they thought they killed him. So, we really didn't pay much attention to it, you know, other than to note that this is what they said. But because we're not detectives, we're not investigators, our job isn't now to follow up and get extra people. That would go to the detective squad, and they would, you know, if they had enough evidence, go after whoever else was involved